Was to usher in a golden age for America during his inaugural address.
From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world.
The 47th president said we will be the envy of every nation.
During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
At the traditional luncheon at Statutory Hall, Trump hinted at pardoning January 6th defendants.
I was going to talk about the J6 hostages, but you'll be happy because you know it's action, not words that count.
Wartime by the Second Continental Congress in 1777. A full 12 years before the office of the vice presidency was even created, or the House of Representatives convened for the first time. The resolution said that the flag would be 13 stars, white.
Create these groups to kind of assess it and determine whether or not there's some additional policy needs to be done.
Yeah, when you remember back 8 years ago, his first week executive orders, he had one on the Muslim travel ban, which he had to redo twice because it wasn't done right. It didn't pass legal muster. So I would expect that having 4 years out of office, he's had a lot of policy people working on these orders, that he will have them locked down tight, that he has already done the kind of consulting with stakeholders to make sure that these executive orders are exactly what he wants to do.
That Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger talk about within investment decision-making and processes, and detail out in innumerable different biases, but we still think that one of the greatest overlooking and underestimating the financial value in economic markets is when race and gender is present. So that's a really important aspect of continuing down
Continue
the
for
process
3/4 of a mile.
enabling investors, some of the
In half a
largest
mile,
investors
merge
in the
onto
world,
Delaware 1
to
North.
continue to find latent value in economic markets.
Darren, I'm wondering if you think that this could end up being a problem the market solves itself without actually regulations or rules coming into focus, because you've been on with us many times over the past few years and you've shared with us outperformance of investments that you've made and that you haven't made as a result of who is leading these funds or who is leading these companies. Is this something the market can solve because people understand there is value there?
It really can't be solved without some type of intervention. And the reason why is bias is something that's unseen. So by naming that and working effortfully and monitoring it, as Daniel Kahneman talked about in his Nobel Prize winning research, we're able to really ascertain what those biases are and then build systems to address them. So 1.3% of $82 trillion is managed by women and people of color in global asset management and global asset management business right now. And part of what we see is, despite 40 years of at or above performance of women and people of color, asset flows are not going to match that outperformance like we would expect in an efficient market. So what that tells us is we have to double click and look at those biases that asset allocators, many of them unintentionally apply, and miss economic opportunities to grow their beneficiaries' portfolios and to really unlock economic value for their clients, etc.
DEI policies. We're talking here, of course, about this in the context of the new and past president. But more broadly, I mean, there have been so many changes. But I think back on that interview that Mark Zuckerberg gave with Joe Rogan, when she talked about the need for more masculine energy in companies, it strikes me that there really has been a regression, a move backward here. And I wonder how you process that and sort of are thinking about ways in which to, again, get this back on the radar of executives and boards and make it something that's not seen as even a hot button issue, is putting it mildly here, but something that I think a lot of companies are kind of studiously avoiding at this point in time.
I think one way to put it back on the radar is to do what Wharton and Stanford Business School have done, which is put excellent leaders at the helm, including Dean Erica James. And as of last week, Dean Sarah Soule, the first woman in a 100-year history of Stanford Business School, where I have the pleasure of serving on the faculty. So every young person around.